You step outside onto your porch, coffee mug warm in your hands, just breathing in the quiet morning air. Above you, sitting high up in the branches of an old eucalyptus tree, a wild white cockatoo is watching you. It cocks its head, its dark, intelligent eyes tracking the exact way you move, the clothes you're wearing, even the speed of your stride. Then, it lets out this sudden, ear-splitting screech that echoes across the entire neighborhood. To you, it's just a loud bird being noisy, maybe an annoying or random burst of wildlife frustration, right? You figure it'll completely forget about you the second you walk back inside. But beneath that bright, explosive crest, something much deeper is happening. That screech isn't random at all. It is a calculated, highly specific broadcast. Right now, a silent biological network is shifting. A permanent psychological evaluation has just been assigned to you, and it's traveling fast through an unseen canopy grid. Here's what most people don't realize. Your backyard isn't just a patch of lawn. It's a highly active surveillance zone. When a cockatoo looks down at you, they aren't just seeing a generic human shape. They are running a complex risk assessment protocol. We naturally assume animals just live in a permanent prison, like they only react to immediate food or danger. But cockatoos operate on an entirely different cognitive plane. They are the social architects of the sky, building incredibly detailed behavioral profiles of every single human who walks beneath their trees. If you've ever walked past a flock and felt like they were deliberately shouting at you, you weren't imagining things. You have been filed away in a hidden system of reputations. They are actively judging your character, and the conclusion they reach can completely alter how nature treats you for years to come. And this is the part people miss, because these birds don't just keep these psychological profiles to themselves. When you upset a cockatoo, you aren't just annoying a single bird, you are potentially blacklisting yourself from an entire regional ecosystem. Honestly, they have the power to turn your peaceful neighborhood into a hostile whispering gallery where you are the primary target. It's a jarring perspective shift, and it completely changes how you hear every single chirp, screech, and flap of wings right outside your window. If you want to understand the true depth of these silent, intelligent networks operating right above your house, you have to look closely at how they trade information. If you're fascinated by the deep, hidden psychology of the animals we share our spaces with, consider subscribing. We're uncovering these hidden realities every single week, and you won't want to miss what we find next. Just think about a typical morning in your yard. Maybe you're rushing out to your car, tossing a garbage bag into the bin with a loud slam, or shooing a bird away from your fruit tree. To you, it's just a forgotten micro moment. But to the cockatoo watching you from the gutter, that single action is a massive piece of data. They are literally monitoring the kinetic energy of your movements. If your walk is sharp and aggressive, or if you're carrying something like a broom or a stick, their internal alarm system registers a massive spike. They watch how you interact with other wildlife, logging whether you are a source of calm or a source of pure chaos. They create a definitive rating of your presence, categorizing you as safe, neutral, or highly dangerous. From that exact moment on, your ordinary backyard isn't a private space anymore. It's a stage, and your permanent file has just been opened. But how do they track you so precisely without mixing you up with your neighbors? Here's what most people don't realize. It all comes down to an incredible piece of biological audio software: the acoustic name tag. Cockatoos don't just recognize human faces, though their facial recognition is terrifyingly sharp. They actually profile your baseline vocal frequency and the specific sonic footprint of your daily habits. They know the distinct rumble of your car engine, the heavy thud of your footsteps on the concrete, and the exact pitch of your voice when you speak to a family member. When you step outside, their brain instantly matches your physical appearance with this multi-layered acoustic profile. They can identify you from hundreds of feet away, long before you even notice them sitting up there in the canopy. Your voice isn't just sound to them. It's a unique digital signature that instantly unlocks your behavioral file from their mental database. Now here's where it gets interesting. They don't just wait around for you to make a sound. They actively read your microexpressions to decode your hidden intent. Before a cockatoo ever decides to scream, they perform a deep psychological analysis on your body language. They track the tightness in your facial muscles, the direction of your gaze, and the subtle tension in your shoulders. In the wild, reading the exact intent of a predator a fraction of a second before it strikes is the difference between life and death. So when they're living in suburbia, They turn that hypervigilant scanning directly onto you. If you walk out with a hidden sense of frustration, your cockatoo weeds those microtremors instantly. They know you are having a bad day, and they treat your unstable energy as an unpredictable threat, bracing their bodies for impact before you've even made a conscious move. But it doesn't stop there. See, a single cockatoo holding a grudge against you is a localized problem. But these birds are profoundly social creatures. They thrive on a shared grievance. When one bird flags you as a dangerous variable, they don't just keep that information to themselves. They use this highly structured, complex vocabulary of screeches, clicks, and wing displays to broadcast your exact threat level to the rest of the flock. It is a literal social blacklist traveling through the trees. When that first bird screeches at you from the porch, the surrounding birds don't just hear noise. They hear a detailed description of a hazard. The entire flock immediately shifts their attention to you, updating their own internal databases with your new negative rating. You haven't even interacted with those other birds, but because of this shared data loop, your safety clearance has just been systematically revoked across the entire neighborhood. As this information spreads, it begins to form spatial memory traps across your daily map. Cockatoos have a brilliant understanding of geography and boundaries. They log your specific routines, mapping your movements like a recurring weather pattern. They know the exact times you leave the house, the path you walk to get your mail, and which trees you pass on your morning stroll. If you're on that social blacklist, they turn your own habits right against you. They will purposely position themselves along your routine path, just waiting at the exact coordinates they know you'll cross. Then, as you walk beneath their branches, they launch a coordinated acoustic assault, tracking your movement across property lines from one yard to the next. Your daily routine becomes a gauntlet of calculated, targeted warnings, proving that your habits have been fully logged on their master map. And this is the part of the story where the intensity begins to escalate, creating what behavioral psychologists call the echo chamber effect. Once an entire flock has adopted a negative view of your vibe, their collective behavior undergoes a pretty dramatic shift. You'll step out of your door, and instead of the usual scattered bird calls, a heavy, synchronized tension drops over the yard. Dozens of cockatoos will align themselves on the power lines and branches, all staring downward at you in absolute, icy silence. Their crests raise in unison, which is a clear visual sign of extreme alertness. They are no longer just reacting to you. They are actively monitoring you as a unified front. The collective energy of the flock shifts from casual observation into a highly organized containment protocol. You are completely surrounded by a network of minds that have mutually agreed you cannot be trusted. But here is the most powerful, mind-bending realization of the entire system, the phenomenon of the generational grudge. This data isn't just traded among the living flock. It is permanently passed down to their offspring. Cockatoos are incredibly long-lived creatures, often reaching over 70 years of age in ideal conditions. Because their survival relies so heavily on cultural knowledge, older birds actively teach their young how to identify the specific humans on the neighborhood blacklist. A juvenile bird that has never once had a negative interaction with you will look at your face, look at their parents' reaction, and instantly inherit the exact same psychological hostility. You could live in your house for decades, and the grandchildren of the bird you originally offended will still look down from the canopy and scream at you with ancient, inherited rage. Your reputation outlives the original moment, becoming a permanent piece of local wildlife history. When you look back at that opening scene on the porch, the entire environment has completely transformed. You're no longer just a person standing outside with a coffee mug, looking at a pretty white bird in a tree. You're an outsider standing directly in the center of an active, highly sophisticated intelligence grid. The closing of your front door wasn't just a simple everyday sound. It was the cue for a complex cognitive machine to start running its calculations. The yard isn't just your property anymore. It is a deeply monitored landscape where every step is timed, your voice is profiled, and your character is constantly broadcasted through an invisible network. You are a participant in a profound, unspoken social treaty with the sky, whether you realize it or not. Every single movement you make outside changes the data flowing through that canopy. Your voice, your walk, and your energy are constantly writing your story in their world. It leaves us with a fascinating, slightly unsettling question to ponder the next time we step out into the yard.